I never imagined that one day my own son would be the one to shove me out of a church. But that day, that damned day, that's exactly what happened. My daughter Lindsay's white casket hadn't even been carried inside yet when Ethan, my only living son, put his hand on my chest and pushed me back like I was a stranger. Not a mother, not a 72-year-old woman, not someone shattered on the inside, just a nuisance. He looked straight into my eyes, cold as shattered ice, and said, "You're not going in, you're not welcome. This is your fault." The words sliced straight through me. Her death is your fault. Before I continue, I need you to know how hard this is for me. I finally feel ready to share what really happened. Thank you to Buried by Family for giving women like me a voice. Please subscribe and like this video before we continue. It helps this story reach other women who need it. Now, let me tell you what they tried to hide. I felt my knees go weak, but he didn't care. When I tried to explain, when I opened my mouth to say, "Ethan, please," he lifted his hand in the air like he was shooing away some animal. "Don't embarrass us again, Mother. You already ruined enough." His wife, Amanda, was behind him, phone in hand, recording everything with that tiny, satisfied smile of someone who just won a war only she had been fighting. I stepped back and my shoe slipped on the rain-slick marble at the church entrance. I fell, flat on my back, hard. The impact knocked the air out of my lungs, but the worst pain wasn't in my body, it was in my soul. The sound echoed, people turned, and someone laughed. Yes, they laughed, while I was trying to get up. Someone off to the side murmured, "My God, how embarrassing." Another answered, "She's always been unstable." And before I could even process that, Amanda Steele recording raised her voice just enough for everyone to hear. "This is what she does, always making everything about her. Pathetic. That woman who had always hated me, that woman who pulled my son away from me for 5 long years. She finally got what she wanted. She saw me down on the floor, and in life, Ethan turned his back and didn't look at me a second time. The church door closed, with my daughter inside, with my grief inside, and me outside, thrown out, humiliated, filmed, broken. I was still on the ground when I heard a phone notification. A group of teenagers arriving for the wake laughed, holding a screen up for each other to see. The video of my fall was already online, posted by Amanda. Titled, "Mother-in-Law Drama at the Funeral." The caption had just 2 words. She fell. Not she slipped. Not my mother-in-law. Not a grieving woman. She reduced to nothing. In that moment on that cold floor, my clothes soaked with rain and tears, I knew something was terribly wrong. Not just with my son, not just with my life, but with my daughter's death. Because Lindsay would never have allowed that. She would never have let Ethan treat me like that. And then, while I was still sitting there on the church steps, my phone buzzed in my coat pocket. One single message. No name, no number. Just, "If you want to know what really happened to Lindsay, find her journal." She hid it from him. My heart stopped. The world tilted. And for the first time since Lindsay died, I felt something other than despair. I felt truth. I felt danger. I felt someone was trying to warn me, and that my daughter's death was not what it seemed. I stood up slowly, with more strength than I thought I had, and made a silent promise as I looked at the closed church doors. "Lindsay, my girl, if someone silenced you, I'll scream for you." And that's how everything began. The scandal, the revelation, the emotional reckoning, and the day I stopped being a broken woman and became something I never imagined. The voice no one can silence anymore. When I stepped out of the church, still dazed, the light rain had already turned into a storm. But I didn't even feel it. All I could think about was the anonymous message. "If you want to know what really happened to Lindsay, find her journal." My daughter had a journal, and my son Ethan couldn't know about it. I started walking, fast, like my life depended on it. Maybe it did. The church was 3 blocks from the house where Lindsay lived with her husband, David DeMond, so controlled and quiet he always gave me chills, but whom Ethan idolized as if he were flawless. I walked there without a second thought. The house was empty, everyone was at the funeral. The back gate was unlocked. I don't know if it was carelessness or fate. I slipped inside. The house was still, too still, like it was hiding more secrets than furniture. I didn't have much time. If Ethan found out I was there, I didn't want to imagine it. I climbed the stairs slowly, my hands slipping along the wooden banister. Every step echoed inside my chest. I opened Lindsay's bedroom door. The scent hit me instantly, lavender, her scent. For a moment, my knees buckled. I sat on the edge of her bed, pressed the blanket to my face, and cried silently, like a mother who'd lost half her soul. But I wasn't there to cry. I was there to find the truth. I looked around, trying to think the way Lindsay would think. Where would a woman hide something she didn't want her husband to find? Not the drawer, not the closet. I stood and touched the vanity mirror. Nothing. I pulled open the nightstand. Only pill bottles, none with labels. That alone scared me. Then, without knowing why, I looked down. One corner of the rug was lifted almost unnoticeable. I knelt, lifted it, and there it was. A loose floorboard. My heart pounded. My hands shook. I pried the wood up carefully, and I found it. A navy blue notebook with my daughter's handwriting on the cover. Lindsay M. Whitford, private journal. Do not read. I almost fainted. But before I could open it, I heard the front door slam. Footsteps, voices, not one to Ethan and Amanda. My blood froze. They'd come back from the funeral early, and they were inside the house. "Mom," Ethan shouted from downstairs. "Her car's outside. I told you it was only a matter of time." Amanda laughed, that laugh that cut through my skin. "Let her come. She wants drama. We'll give her drama." I shoved the journal inside my coat, pulled the rug back into place, slid the floorboard shut, and nearly tripped trying to stand. Footsteps on the stairs. I had to get out. Now. I opened the bedroom window and my heart raced when I saw it led to the side yard. I didn't think. I jumped. I landed badly. The pain shot up my leg like electricity, but I didn't scream. I limped toward the side gate and slipped out through the back street, hidden by the trees. The rain washed down my face, but it couldn't wash away the feeling of triumph. I had my daughter's journal, her voice, the truth they tried to bury. I sank onto the empty bench, shaking from head to toe. The rain hammered against the metal roof, steady, relentless. I opened the journal. On the first page, there was only one sentence. "If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident." My heart stopped. The second page, "Ethan will believe anything Amanda says, even if it destroys our family." And the third, the one that froze my entire soul. "Mom, I know Amanda hates you, and I know what she did last week, but I can't protect you and save myself at the same time." I covered my mouth with my hand. Tears streamed uncontrollably. The journal was full, page after page, and every line had the power to destroy my son, my life, my entire story. But I didn't close it. I kept going. Because Lindsay needed to be heard. Because I needed to know. Even if it hurt. Even if it burned. Even if it turned my life upside down. I took a deep breath and read the next sentence, the one that would start the war. "Amanda threatened me. She said I was in the way." My eyes widened. And before I could process what it meant, a bus pulled up in front of me, and inside it was a woman watching me. A woman I recognized instantly, my daughter's best friend, Chloe Arden. She opened the door and said only, "Helen, we need to talk about how Lindsay really died." And then I knew this wasn't grief. This was investigation, divine justice, war, and I was ready. Chloe Arden stepped off the bus like she was carrying the weight of the world on her back. Her face was swollen, her eyes shaking, but there was something beyond the pain, guilt, fear, and an urgency I'd never seen before. She pulled me onto the empty bus, and the driver, silent, expressionless, closed the doors and started the engine, as if he already knew our conversation couldn't be overheard by anyone else. I sat beside her, clutching Lindsay's journal so tightly my fingers turned white. Chloe looked at the notebook, then at me, and drew in a long breath, like she was about to walk through fire. "Helen, you found it. So now I need to tell you the rest." My heart nearly tore out of my chest. "Chloe, was Lindsay scared? Was she being threatened?" She nodded slowly, and when she opened her mouth, her voice cracked in half. "Helen, Lindsay didn't die the way they said. She didn't fall down the stairs. She was pushed." My stomach flipped. My whole body went cold. "Who?" She didn't hesitate. "Amanda." The name hit the air like a knife. I gripped the edge of the seat to keep from fainting. Chloe went on. "Lindsay called me 3 days before she died, crying, shaking. She said Amanda was accusing her of seducing her own brother-in-law, said she was insanely jealous, said she had barged into Lindsay's room in the middle of the night, screaming, saying she was going to ruin everything." I covered my mouth. It was worse than I imagined. Much worse. Lindsay tried to tell Ethan, but he said she was exaggerating. He told her, "Amanda would never do that. The problem is you, Lindsay." And that broke her inside, before she broke on the outside. My vision blurred. I wanted to cry, scream, smash something, but Chloe didn't stop. On the day she died, Lindsay texted me. She said Amanda had pushed her to the edge, that she was going to confront her, and that she was recording everything on her phone. A shiver ran through me. Recording? Recording how? Chloe closed her eyes, like she was finally admitting something she'd been afraid to say since the day Lindsay died. She set her phone in the corner of the living room, to record the conversation, to have proof, and then the phone disappeared. The words made my soul drop. Lindsay's phone went missing the day she died. Yes, and everyone pretended it never existed. I pressed the journal against my chest. Chloe looked straight into my eyes and didn't look away. Helen, that fall was not an accident. And Amanda wasn't alone. Ethan was there. A brutal silence filled the space between us. I couldn't breathe. Chloe, are you telling me my son saw Lindsay fall? That he saw it and did nothing? Chloe took my hand, gently, like someone who knows they're about to break your heart, but has no choice. Not only did he do nothing, he helped cover it up. Amanda's version, the perfect family lie. He chose her, and he left his sister to die alone on the floor. The world spun. The bus felt too small for all the pain exploding inside me. Chloe wiped her tears with her sleeve. Helen, before she died, Lindsay left something with me. She said, if anything happens to me, give this to my mom. I hid it. I kept it. I was scared. But now, you need this. She pulled a small, worn envelope from her bag, its corners bent, edges soft from being handled too many times. I took it with trembling hands. It's the passcode to her phone. And the location of the video backup. The video of the last fight. The air rushed out of my lungs. Chloe added, Helen, if you want justice, that video will destroy everything Amanda and Ethan built. It will expose everything. It will turn their world upside down, and it will put you in danger too. I closed the envelope slowly, feeling my life shift for the second time that day. I lifted my head and, for the first time since the funeral, I felt strength, deep strength, old, feminine, unbreakable. Chloe, I'm going to expose every lie, every act of abuse, every silence. I will show Lindsay's truth for the entire country to see. And if my son begs me on his knees, I still won't go back. Chloe touched my arm, with respect. Lindsay always said you were the strongest woman she knew. I closed my eyes. Heavy tears fell. I wasn't strong before. But now I am. Because she needs me. Because I need her. Because no woman deserves to die and be buried a second time in a lie. I held the envelope against my chest, and I whispered, Lindsay, Mama hears you. Mama will avenge you. Mama will set you free. The bus stopped. When I stepped off, I felt that every step I took wasn't just mine. It was hers too. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't grief. It was justice, fire, rebirth. When I got off the bus, the envelope felt heavy in my hand, like it was made of stone, not paper. The passcode, the backup location, the last recording of my daughter alive. I didn't know if I was shaking from fear, rage, or adrenaline, maybe all three. I opened the envelope slowly, like opening a wound. Inside were a handwritten passcode, a small post-it with an address scribbled in a hurry, and a chilling line. If I don't come back, my truth will. The address belonged to a storage unit, one of those places where people hide things they never want anyone to find. A perfect place for Lindsay to hide evidence. I took the bus there. During the ride, my mind spun. The shove, the fall, the lie, my son's silence, Amanda's smile as she filmed me on the ground. The more I thought about it, the clearer the truth formed like lightning before a storm. The building was gray and quiet, with long corridors that felt like a maze. The attendant handed me the key to Unit 117. Here you go, ma'am. Last payment was 3 weeks ago. My heart clenched. 3 weeks before her death. 3 weeks before my daughter was pushed. The key trembled in my hand as I unlocked the door. The dim light revealed a small metal box on the floor. That was it. I knelt slowly, afraid to touch it, but knowing this moment was inevitable. I opened the box. Inside were a black flash drive, a folded note, a bracelet, the one I gave Lindsay when she was 12, and a memory card. I almost cried when I touched the bracelet, but the note pulled my attention. I unfolded it. It was her handwriting, my daughter's handwriting. Mom, if you're reading this, I'm sorry. I tried to handle this alone. I thought I could fix things. But Amanda isn't who she says she is, and Ethan doesn't see her the way I do. The letters wavered, like they'd been written with shaking hands. They're pushing me, they're isolating me, they're making me feel crazy, and tonight, I'm scared, my eyes filled with tears. If something happens, don't let them control the story. Show this video, show everyone. They won't be able to lie after that. I swallowed a sob. I picked up the flash drive and memory card as if they were relics, because they were Lindsay's last truth. I crossed the street to the cafe opposite the storage facility, a simple place, wooden tables, the smell of burnt coffee. I sat by the window, opened my old laptop, plugged in the flash drive. The screen loaded slowly, one single video file. My hands shook. I breathed deeply, clicked. The screen went black for 2 seconds, then Lindsay's living room appeared. Her phone camera was propped in the corner, pointed at the doorway. You could hear her breathing, nervous, anxious. The door flew open. Amanda entered first, face red, eyes furious, hands shaking. And then, Ethan, my son, my boy, with the same cold look he had when he shoved me out of the church. Lindsay stepped into frame, backing away. Lindsay, stop yelling. Please, you're scaring me, Amanda. I'm scaring you. You're trying to destroy my marriage. Lindsay, I would never, Ethan. I'm tired of your behavior, Lindsay. You're manipulating everyone. Amanda told me everything. My daughter swallowed her tears. Lindsay, Ethan, she's lying to you. She hates me. She wants me gone. Amanda stepped forward, dangerous. Amanda, oh, I want more than that. She shoved Lindsay's shoulder. Lindsay stumbled, and my heart nearly exploded. Lindsay, don't touch me, Amanda. Or what? You'll tell your mommy. Ethan didn't move a muscle. Lindsay, Ethan, please, tell her to stop. And my son, the boy I once carried in my arms, said, Ethan, you're embarrassing this family. Again. Amanda smiled, that venomous smile I had seen in her since the beginning. Amanda, you know what, Ethan, let's end this. And then everything happened too fast. Amanda lunged. Lindsay stepped back, tripped on the rug. But before she could regain her balance, Amanda shoved her. Ethan did nothing. Nothing. The sound of a body hitting the floor. The phone shook. Lindsay screamed in pain. Amanda, say it was an accident, or we'll say you attacked me. Ethan stepped toward her, not to help, to silence. Ethan, Mom never needs to know. My blood turned to ice. There it was. The fall, the lie, the death, all of it. The whole truth, right in front of my eyes. I covered my mouth to keep from screaming, because in that moment, my heart died for the second time. My son let his sister be pushed, and then helped cover it up. And now he had thrown me out of her funeral. The video ended with a sound I will never forget. Lindsay's weak voice whispering, Mom, help me. I closed the laptop slowly, like closing a coffin. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. The message read, we know what you found. Stop now or you'll regret it. And I knew. They had figured out I had the video, and they were coming for me. But it was too late. I had the truth, and I was going to show it to everyone. Even if it was the last thing I did. I walked out of the cafe with the video burning in my pocket like dynamite. I was shaking, not from fear, but from rage. The kind of rage only a wounded mother can feel. The street was wet, the wind cutting, and I walked fast, glancing over my shoulder again and again, because I knew, they knew. And when people like Amanda and Ethan realize they've lost control, they don't retreat, they attack. I was at the corner, trying to hail a cab, when I noticed a black car slowing down far too close, dark windows, low engine rumble, that kind of silence that screams danger. The car stopped beside me. The door opened, and there she was, Amanda, hard-faced, dead eyes, arms crossed with rehearsed coldness. Get in the car, Helen, we need to talk. I laughed. A short, humorless laugh. You mean, give me what you found, because that's the only thing you know how to say. Amanda stepped out of the car slowly, like she was stepping onto a stage. Helen, you don't understand. That video destroys everyone. It destroys Ethan. It destroys our family. It destroys you. I took a step back. I saw the video. I know exactly who destroyed who, and it wasn't me. And it wasn't Lindsay. Her eyes narrowed, the social mask cracking. Lindsay provoked. Lindsay threatened. Lindsay lost her mind. I walked toward her like a silent storm. Don't you dare blame a woman you pushed. Don't you dare turn the victim into the villain. Not with me. Amanda grabbed my arm with surprising force. Give me the video. Now. I yanked my arm free. If you touch me again, I'll scream. And this entire street will come out of their cars to see exactly what kind of woman you are. For a moment, just a second, she broke. Fear slipped through. Not fear of me, but fear of being exposed. And then, like always, Amanda did what narcissistic people do when they lose control. She threatened. Helen, think about yourself. You're old. You're alone. Who's going to protect you? Who will believe you when I say you made all this up? I answered. The entire country. When they see the video, she froze. And before she could respond, I heard a familiar sound. A car braking hard. Another pulled up behind the first. And this time, it wasn't just Amanda. It was Ethan, my son, the person I raised, the person who now wanted to silence me. He got out of the car and walked straight toward me, but not as a son, as an aggressor. Mom, what are you doing? Why can't you just accept that Lindsay is gone? I took a steady breath. She's gone because you let her. She's gone because you pushed her. She's gone because you believed a woman who destroyed your sister. He froze. His face turned red, then white, then nothing. Delete the video. Now. Never. I'm going to show it to everyone. Amanda stepped forward, almost hissing. If you do that, no one will ever look at you again without seeing a bitter old woman who destroyed her own son. I stepped even closer to her. Then let them see me. Because I'd rather be called bitter than be an accomplice to murder. Ethan spoke again, his voice lower, desperate. Don't do this to us, Mom. Please. I looked into his eyes, searching for any trace of the boy I raised. I didn't find it. I didn't do anything to you. You did this to Lindsay, and to yourselves. And then I heard the sound that changed everything. Sirens, police, a patrol car turning the corner. Amanda's face drained of color. Ethan stepped back. They exchanged a quick look, the kind only the guilty recognized. Come on, Ethan, now. They got in the car. Doors slammed. Engine roared. They fled. But not before Amanda rolled down the window and screamed, You don't know who you're messing with, Helen. You're going to lose everything. You're going to regret this. I raised my hand, shaking, but steady. I already lost everything that mattered. Now all I have left is the fight. The patrol car pulled up beside me. The officer stepped out, concerned. Ma'am, are you all right? We got a call saying an elderly woman was being threatened. I took a deep breath. Yes, I'm all right. But it's going to get worse before it gets better. He looked at me in confusion. I smiled, a small, sad smile, but full of fire. I'm going to show the world what happened to my daughter. And as I walked away, the video saved in my pocket, I felt a strength I'd never had in my entire life. Not the strength of a mother, the strength of a survivor. A woman who refuses to bury the truth along with her child. Because Lindsay had been silenced, but me, I would not be. And the whole world was going to hear. I knew I couldn't release the video online first. I couldn't go straight to the police. I couldn't throw it into the world without a plan. No, my daughter deserved more than chaos. She deserved witnesses. She deserved the world watching the truth live. I decided to show it in the same place where I had been humiliated. The church, at the funeral, in front of everyone who watched me being thrown out. The next day, I went back. The church was full, the farewell mass packed every pew, extended family, Lindsay's co-workers, childhood friends, neighbors, everyone whispering about yesterday's scandal. When I walked through the doors, silence dropped like a stone into water. Some people murmured, others avoided my eyes. And there, at the front, beside my daughter's casket, Ethan and Amanda, holding hands, like the perfect couple. If not for the blood on their hands. Amanda stared at me with a crooked smile, not joyful, but dripping with malicious triumph. Ethan simply looked away, shame disguised as anger. I walked straight toward the altar, head high, no permission, no apology. The priest tried to stop me. Mrs. Helen, perhaps this isn't the. I raised my hand. Father, the moment is now. If I don't do this today, my daughter dies again. The entire church froze. I stepped up to the small pulpit, pulled the flash drive from my pocket, connected it to the large screen in the side hall, the same one they planned to use to show pictures of Lindsay's life after the service. The priest tried again. What are you doing? I said, only telling the truth. Amanda stepped forward, panicked. Helen, no, stop. You can't show that here. Ethan grabbed her arm. Amanda, calm down. She just wants attention. But Amanda's voice trembled. She knew this was the end. I pressed play. The screen went black for 2 seconds. And then, my daughter's living room appeared. Lindsay alive, Lindsay breathing, Lindsay afraid. The church gasped. The first lines were met with horrified silence. Lindsay, stop yelling, please. Then, Amanda, you're trying to destroy my marriage. And then, Ethan, you're embarrassing this family. People began looking at Ethan, then at Amanda, then at me. The video continued, Amanda stepping forward, Lindsay backing away. The argument escalating, the violence looming. And then the moment that froze everyone, Amanda shoving Lindsay, the fall, the impact, the scream. The entire church shouted, "Oh my God," at the same time. A woman in the third row clutched her chest. The priest closed his eyes, horrified, but the worst was still coming. When Lindsay's voice appeared weak, desperate, "Mom, help me." I heard women crying, men choking on their breath. And then the final blow. Ethan, kneeling beside his injured sister, saying, "Mom never needs to know." The video ended. Silence. Absolute silence. Amanda started screaming. "This is edited. It's fake. It's a lie. You don't understand." People backed away from her as if she were contagious. Ethan was shaking like a child, caught stealing, except the crime was infinitely worse. I stepped down from the platform, walked to the center aisle. The path opened, as if no one wanted to touch the tragedy. As if I were being escorted by the truth itself. I stopped in front of my daughter's casket, took a deep breath, and placed my hand on the lid. "It's done, sweetheart. Now they know. Now the world knows. Now you can rest." And then, I heard something. A sound behind me. When I turned, Ethan was on his knees. Yes, my son, the one who shoved me at the church door. The one who threw me out of the funeral. The one who called me crazy. The one who helped cover up his sister's death. He fell to his knees in front of me. Tears running down his face. His mask shattered. His life destroyed by his own hands. "Mom, Mom, please forgive me. I didn't know it would end like this. I was scared. I messed up. Please, forgive me." The entire church fell silent, waiting for my answer. Amanda was being held by two relatives, spiraling into panic. Ethan stayed there, on his knees, begging. My eyes burned, but my voice came out solid as iron. "Ethan, my forgiveness won't absolve you, and the truth doesn't change. One day, maybe I can wish you peace, but today I leave you with what you've done." He collapsed into sobs, and I turned my back on him, not out of cruelty, out of survival. I walked toward the church door where, just a day earlier, I had been humiliated, shoved, thrown out, and I left with my head higher than ever before, because in that moment, I was no longer the mother who fell on the steps. I was the woman who lifted the truth, and no one could erase that. The church remained silent after I walked out, heavy, suffocating silence, thick with shame and shock. And as I walked along the wet sidewalk, still feeling the weight of the casket I'd left behind, I heard the first sirens. They were coming, not for me, but for them. When I turned back and glanced discreetly through the church's side window, I saw the exact moment, Amanda being dragged by the arms by two police officers. Her screams cut through the air like a dull knife. "Don't touch me. You don't know who I am." It was her, that damn old woman. She kicked, thrashed, tried to pull free, but the more she screamed, the more the crowd backed away from her, as if she were fire. And then, as life's final punishment, she was placed in the patrol car in the exact position I had been in the day before, on the ground, humiliated, exposed, a woman who spent years destroying others, now destroyed by her own actions. And what I felt wasn't joy, it was justice. Cold, clean, necessary justice. And Ethan didn't run. He didn't fight. He didn't shout. He sat on a church pew with his face in his hands as two investigators approached. They said something to him quietly. He nodded, took a deep breath, and lifted his hands, surrendered, defeated, broken. They didn't handcuff him, but they escorted him. A man being escorted doesn't need handcuffs. He's already imprisoned inside his own guilt. As they led him away, he looked at me briefly. He said nothing. He didn't ask for forgiveness again. But his expression said everything. I destroyed everything and I can't fix it. And a part of me, the part that was still a mother, felt a different kind of grief. Not for the man, but for the boy I lost years ago, long before Lindsay died. Within hours, the video went viral. News outlets, blogs, social media, TV programs, local newspapers, everyone saying, "The truth about Lindsay Whitford has surfaced." Funeral turns into scene of public accusation. Mother exposes daughter's homicide, and then, the unexpected women from the city began reaching out to me. Messages, letters left at my door, shaking voices. Helen, I lived something similar. No one believed me either. Thank you. You said what I never could say. I wasn't prepared for that. But I realized, when one woman raises her voice, dozens more find the courage to rise too. The next day, the police called me in for an official statement. When I stepped outside, a crowd of reporters waited. Microphones, cameras, people pushing forward, and behind them a sea of women holding signs. Justice for Lindsay, no, no. More silencing. We believe women, the lead reporter approached. Mrs. Whitford, would you like to say something to the public? I took a deep breath and spoke with the clarity only someone who has lost everything can have. The silence killed my daughter, and it almost killed me too. A ripple of murmurs spread. I continued, but yesterday, I learned that the truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs to be shown. The cameras zoomed in, women cried, and then I said the sentence that changed everything. If someone tried to silence you, know that I hear you. And now, the world will hear you too. That's how it began. The movement, the wave, the transformation. That same day, I was finally able to return to the cemetery, not for spectacle, not for conflict, not for shame, but to say goodbye to my daughter, alone, with white flowers, with trembling hands, with a chest still in ruins. I placed the flowers on the newly sealed grave, touched the cold marble, and whispered, Lindsay, I promise you will never be silenced again, never used, never erased. I will make the world hear you. I promise, my love. A soft breeze blew, almost like an answer, and in that instant, for the first time since her death, I felt something close to peace, not the peace of forgetting, but the peace of justice. The following weeks felt like years. Amanda waited for trial behind bars. Ethan, though not imprisoned, was forbidden from coming near me. The entire town whispered my name, some with pity, some with admiration, some with hatred, but no one ignored me anymore. No one shoved me out of anywhere, because now, I had the truth. And the truth had weight. The courtroom was packed, so packed that some people stayed outside watching through their phones. Amanda was brought in handcuffed, hair tied back hastily, makeup smudged, arrogance reduced to dust. None of the polished, superior, smiling woman she pretended to be in public. She was now just an exposed abuser. When the judge read the charges, she shook. Involuntary manslaughter reduced because they couldn't prove intent to kill. Only an assault that resulted in death. Physical assault, threats, obstruction of justice, deleted recordings, witness intimidation, false testimony, and the video. The video was the key piece. Her lawyer tried to argue. It was just a light push. Lindsay lost her balance on her own. But the judge cut him off coldly. A push that caused a fatal fall. That is not an accident. That is violence. Amanda cried. Tried to look fragile. Tried to paint herself as a victim. But no one believed her anymore. Her sentence was decided. 12 years in prison. No parole before 7. Crying in the courtroom. Shouts outside. And silence inside her. She looked at me before being taken away, and said, Horse, this is your fault. I answered simply, No, fault is what you tried to hide. I only turned on the light. She was dragged away. And Amanda never hurt anyone again. My son was not absolved, but he wasn't convicted of homicide either because the video didn't show him touching Lindsay. The prosecution wanted to charge him with willful collusion, but without proof of active participation, it would be difficult still. He was charged with failure to render aid, false reporting, destruction of evidence for helping hide the phone, somewhat smaller penalties, but enough to destroy his reputation. When the judge asked, Mr. Whitford, would you like to make a statement? He looked at me from the back of the courtroom. His eyes were empty, lost. No Amanda, no excuses. And for the first time in years, he said something true. I destroyed my family, not out of hatred, but out of cowardice. Silence, he cried. And then, looking into my eyes, he whispered, Mom, I'm sorry. And something inside me broke for the third time, not from hatred, not from resentment, but from grief. Grief for the son I thought I had, the one who never existed the way I imagined. He received 18 months of community service and mandatory therapy, and he was never the same again. Neither was I after the trial. I sat in my small garden, white roses all around, and opened the journal again. I had read almost all of it, but something told me there was still more. And then I found it. The last page, hidden between two sheets lightly stuck together, as if Lindsay feared someone might tear it out. When I separated them carefully, her handwriting appeared crooked, shaky, written days before her death. Mom, I know what Amanda plans to do. I know she wants to get rid of me. My heart tightened. But what hurts the most isn't her. It's Ethan. He used to be my hero. Now he doesn't see me anymore. He only sees her. The tears came instantly. And then the final line, the most painful, the deepest. If I die, don't let my voice die with me. Let me speak through you. I closed the journal slowly. And I understood everything. The mission, the pain, the strength. Lindsay didn't want me to save the past. She wanted me to save other women's futures. She wanted my voice to be a bridge. And she wanted silence to stop killing people. Using money from a community program and donations that started coming in without me ever asking, we founded an organization, Voices of the Silenced Women, a support center for women who endured psychological violence, emotional abuse, domestic manipulation, family isolation, public humiliation, invisibility. On opening day, the local TV station broadcasted live. Chloe stood beside me. Women from the entire town showed up. Even people who never looked twice at me were hugging me like a sister. I stepped onto the small stage, lit by the late afternoon sun, and said, I didn't save Lindsay, but she saved other women through me. Silence. And then, she asked me to be her voice, and now, I will be the voice for all of us. Applause, tears, hands, joined. And I, for the first time in many years, felt that my life had a purpose that wasn't pain. A purpose born from the depths of grief. A purpose that became light. Because stories like mine don't end, they are reborn. And they become the stories of other women who survived the impossible. Just like me. Just like Lindsay. Just like so many others. And that's how my story ends. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done? Thank you to Borrowed by Family for allowing me to share this truth. This channel needs your support to keep giving women a voice. So click subscribe. That way, more women will be able to speak their truths here. On the screen you'll find another story you may like, and the button to subscribe.